the PowerPoint going on? Oh, there it goes. It's warming up. Okay, today we're going to kind of talk a little bit about what you've been learning. Can you tell me, can you guys remind me where Flat Stanley was going in his book that you're reading? Stephen, where's he going?
Egypt.
Egypt. Do you know much about Egypt? Anybody know anything about him?
Egypt is like the ancient place that has pyramids.
Ancient place. They have pyramids. Anything else that you can think of? Yes. Well, I've just called on you. Let me go to someone else. Let's see. Okay.
Egyptians thought that there's the Egyptians they worship Sphinx,
Okay.
which is a lion, eagle, and Hercules.
That's really cool. Good job. Okay, now another question I'm going to have. Have you ever heard of anyone talking about a social class or socioeconomics? Y'all know what that is?
No.
No? I bet you know, you just don't know the term of it. What that is there's different classes of people. Who is in charge of the United States? At least sort of.
Barack Obama.
Okay, but who is he?
The president.
Hold on, let me call on you. Okay,
The president.
the president. So he's kind of the big head honcho of the country, right? And then there's people underneath him. In Egypt, does anyone know who their president is? Who their big person is?
A king or a queen.
King or queen? Does anyone know what he was called? Brandon?
Tutankhamun.
Huh?
Tutankhamun. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone think of another one?
King Tut.
These are big people, right? Okay, well, we're gonna first. I want to start. So, I'm thinking of Pharaoh. Anybody heard of Pharaoh?
Yeah. I have.
Probably heard about that at church, probably a little bit.
Yes.
We heard it here.
In here,
Yeah, in
sure.
the classroom.
Okay, we're gonna look up here first because there's 4 different classes. How many classes are there?
4.
The first one, which is the low one, like the bottom class is what it's called, is the servants. Can you tell? You're going to turn off one of the lights for me, Dede? Just the front one. When you're looking at the servant, does anything stand out to you about it? Don't turn both out, babe. Don't turn both out. Thank you. Oh, well.
It was like that just a minute ago.
Okay. What is something that stands out about servants? Anything that you can tell? What do you think, Joshua?
They have the king.
They help the king, yes, but in this picture, when you're looking at it, what about them? How are they dressed? Katie?
They only have like it looks like a skirt.
A skirt. So
Or towels.
do they probably not have money for a lot of clothes?
No.
Is it maybe that they just get the leftovers from people? Maybe Pharaoh had a nice costume made, a nice outfit made, and he had leftover material from his outfit. They get that. They don't get anything special.
It's like this bird.
And can anybody think in today, like in the United States, what would be the bottom class of the United States? Do you know? There's different classes. So what would you think? Let me see. Dylan, what do you know? What would kind of be the same as a servant in the United States? Can't think of one? That's okay. The Republicans. No, that's not what I was thinking, but that's a good one. Who have I not caught on? Tatiana? Or,
I'm
you're
Lakaya.
Tatiana. You know?
That's Lakai. That's Lakai.
Okay, I'll get her.
Color said Lakai.
You all know one? A maid. That's a good, yes, a maid or somebody. A butler. That could be kind of the same thing. But the thing is now, I don't think that we're gonna see our maid or our butler in just a little skirt, right? They're gonna probably have on more clothes than that. Yes.
I hope they do.
Hobos?
A hobo. So like maybe a homeless person, right? Or someone. So are they probably, do they have much money?
No.
No, they don't have a lot of money. Do you think that what kind of food do you think they probably eat?
Scraps.
Like
Wait.
leftover food and scraps?
Blueberries off the trees, apples, and try to find stuff.
Right, just try to, whatever they can have, right?
Stuff off the ground.
They're not,
They made look like trash. At least it's something they can
anything that they can get because they're hungry, right? Do you think there's maybe times they don't get to eat? Maybe, yeah. There's probably many times, one second, baby. Probably many times that they don't get to eat because they don't have a lot of money. And they have to do what other people want. So they don't get to just eat anytime they want to, or like me. They probably don't get some good warm cookies or anything like that. The next step, so that was the bottom class. What class did we just talk about?
The bottom
The
class.
bottom class. And that's your slaves and your servants and people like that. Okay? And hobos, if you were talking about the United States, you're right. Good job. The next class is called the lower class. So we've got the bottom class first, and then on top of that, we have the lower class. And that included people that were farmers or laborers, like a carpenter. Do y'all know what a carpenter is?
Yes.
Right, someone who fixes things. Those are the people that are in the bottom class. They probably don't miss too many meals. Maybe they're getting to eat, just not the stuff they like a whole lot, right?
Yeah.
How are they dressed?
Like gals.
Like gowns? Do you think maybe, and I may be wrong, but in my opinion, I think maybe the reason they're dressed that way is where are they working? Are they
On the
working
ground.
inside the house?
No.
They're
No.
working outside.
What is she doing?
Okay, thank you. They're working outside, and so do you think, is it probably really sunny?
I couldn't really see from back there.
Now you can.
Is it really sunny outside a lot of times?
Yeah.
And in Africa and in Egypt, is it hot?
Yes.
And so they probably need to cover up so that their skin is protected and they don't get burned and they don't get blisters. It hurts.
Sunburn.
Right.
Leg might get sunburned.
Yeah, his leg's uncovered. Looks like maybe he's got his leg down in the water cooling off because he's gathering some water up there. Maybe. And so they're covered up more. And we have farmers here, right?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So you guys know what a farmer is. And the next, you can go to the next slide, babe. Thank you. So we've got, what was the first class? What was the first class?
Bottom class.
Servant.
What was that class called?
Servant.
Bottom class.
Bottom class. Very good. And what's the next one?
Lower class.
Lower class. Good job. Now the third one is the middle class. The middle class. That's pretty much
Like in the middle.
like everybody that you see nowadays most of the time. They're middle class. Just middle of the road. They're not rich. They're not really poor. They're just living day-to-day life, paying their bills, and doing things like that. How does he seem to be dressed in this picture?
Properly.
Huh?
Properly.
Properly? Yeah? Day-Day?
Like it's cold.
Like it's cold. What do you think, Tatiana?
Like a man who can't afford clothes like we don't.
That might be true, but I think a difference is do they dress the same as we do?
No.
Yeah, other countries, especially when you get to Africa and Egypt and other countries like that, they don't dress the same as we do. They aren't going to be in blue jeans and a t-shirt and Nike or Jordans. They're not going to have that. This is just how they normally dress. But do you notice that maybe his doesn't seem, it has a little more color. It just doesn't seem, it is boring, you're right.
It's all kind of grayish, greenish sort of kind of color.
Well, it doesn't have to be that color, okay? It can be whatever color you want it to be, because like we were talking about a while ago, especially with the servants, they probably were just having whatever was left from an outfit that somebody else had. Whatever they could find, they put on. And so it could be whatever, but you notice that he is covered up a little more, he's dressed, he looks a little more put together, doesn't he?
Yes.
He doesn't look as dirty or whatever. And this is an artisan. Does anyone know what an artisan is? Think of what is the first word in that?
Art.
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 So what does that probably mean?
He's an artist.
Artist. Do artists only draw?
No.
They can make stuff like
What does it look like he's making in this picture?
a lamp.
A pot. So like, what is pottery? Good job. That's what it is.
You do that in high school, I think.
What?
You can
Also, guys, in this middle class, and I don't have a picture of them, I'm sorry, but you'll know what this is as soon as I say it. Soldiers.
Oh.
The
Yeah.
soldiers
yeah.
are in the middle class. Good job. Right. You can go to the next slide, Dad. The next class, because first we had what class?
The bottom class.
Next we had
Lower class.
the next one.
Middle class.
So can anyone guess what the next one's going to be?
Top class.
Top. What's another word for top?
Higher.
High.
First class. Good
First
job.
class.
They call it the upper class.
Say what?
Upper class.
You like to say what?
So you have bottom, lower, middle, upper. Those are the 4 different classes. In the upper classes, who do you think might be in the upper class? What is some of the people in the upper class? Anybody I've not called on that wants to talk? Eduardo?
Rich people.
Rich people, yes. What are some people that are rich? Or at least people that you think have a lot more money than you. What are some of those people?
Like,
Steven? Millionaires? What job do they do? Does that describe it a little better? I'm wanting to know what are some of the jobs that these people that are upper class might be doing? Dede? So they would be actors maybe? Yeah. Let's see, Brandon, what do you think?
Doing some magic shows.
Magic shows? What do you think, babe?
Might be a famous designer.
A designer? Those are probably some upper class. What about doctors? Do you think a doctor might
That's
be?
what I was gonna say.
Or a nurse. I bet you nurses are probably middle class. That's just what I would think. I don't think that they're necessarily upper class. Or a lawyer. Yes,
A musician.
a musician. Okay, in Egypt, because we're talking about Egypt also. In Egypt, the priest and the nobles, they are, you can go to the next slide. This is a merchant. This is also someone that is in middle class, okay? You can go next one, babe. Next one. Okay, right here. I didn't realize that I had all those slides on there. Nobles and priests, how are they dressed? Do they seem average?
Yes.
You think?
They look like they have a lot of money. They have earrings and jewelry.
They have earrings and jewelry.
Yeah.
Right, so they look like they just look put together and they look like they have more money, right? Because if you see someone that has tons of jewelry on and really, really nice clothes and if they have cars, probably were driving a Jaguar or a Lamborghini or a Mustang, then they probably have more money. So they are dressed better and they look better. And also, because they're the upper class, do you think people listen to them more?
Yes.
Yeah, because if they don't, they go.
If you had a servant in a room and you had one of the upper class, the priest or the nobles in the room, and they both told you to do something, which one do you think everyone would listen to?
The one that has
The one that got more.
No other class, the one that is in the upper class. They would be listened to more. And the reason that they had all these different classes is because, you can go to the next slide.
That's what?
Who is this? We just talked about it.
The Pharaoh.
Pharaoh. All of these classes of people that we have been talking about are under Pharaoh. Everybody there listens to Pharaoh. Everybody did what he told them to do. And he needed help, because he couldn't do it all by himself, right? Because there's a whole lot of people. So there was people under him, and that's why there was the classes. So the one directly underneath him was the upper class. Good job. And then the
Middle class.
and
Lower.
good, and the very
Bottom.
lowest class. The bottom class. Good job. Okay, so today, and hopefully we'll get it finished today. If not, we'll work on it again next week. You guys have been reading this book about Flat Stanley. And he goes to Egypt, right?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, can anyone tell me the story? How did Flat Stanley get flat? Yes, ma'am.
Well, he was in his bed one day, and his dad had hanged a building board on top of his on below, like where his bed was, and then it fell on him one night, and he got flat.
Yeah, flat. That's
cool.
And so he can go anywhere he wants, right?
Yes. But he will be big.
Today we're going to pretend something different with Flat Stanley. Not only can he go anywhere he wants, he gets to be different people. So we're going to represent him in the bottom class. We're going to represent him in the lower, middle, and the upper class. Because we need to know about all of those, because everybody is important. There's not one person that is less important than another. It's every class helps everything to work. If we didn't have the servants, and we didn't have the farmers, and we didn't have the doctors and the artisans, and we didn't have all these different people, everything would be all off whack, right? And it would all be different. Yes, ma'am. Is that okay to start? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide you up into 4 groups, okay? And in those 4 groups, I'm going to tell you which class that you're going to represent. I'm going to give you guys some butcher paper and a bunch of materials that you can make the clothes with and that kind of thing. And you are going to make a Flat Stanley for the class that I give you. So if I give Tatiana's group, if I tell you to do upper class, are you going to dress Flat Stanley like a servant?
No.
No. So how would you probably dress him?
Dress him like a pop star.
The pop star? Okay.
Jackson.
Michael Jackson, all right?
What? Michael Jackson.
That's fine. That's fine because that's the upper class. That's fine. If that's how you guys want to think about it, that's great. Okay, if I gave Anna Grace, sorry.
Yes.
Anna Grace group, middle class, are you going to dress your Flat Stanley like a farmer?
Yes.
No.
No.
No? How would you maybe dress him?
This is what regular people would wear.
Yeah, normal clothes. Yeah, because it's what class is that? The middle class, just average, right? Does middle mean average?
Yes.
Right? So you're not going to put your Flat Stanley in a sequin ball gown if he's middle class, right? Okay.
No.
And let me see, if I gave Nicole's group lower class, are you going to dress Flat Stanley like a servant or a slave? No. So how would you maybe dress them? What are some of the people that are there?
Just a skirt.
A farmer, right? Or kind of average, but maybe a little bit lower, and maybe have a little bit of tear on the front, because if they're farmers, they're out working in their clothes, right?
Yeah, they're gonna get.
So, are they gonna get messy and dirty?
Yes.
Yeah, they're not gonna be all clean and pristine, are they?
No.
Okay, let's see, what group did I not talk about? The bottom class. If I gave Joshua's group bottom class, would you dress flat standing like Pharaoh?
No.
Or would you dress him
He'll have a skirt.
like an artisan? Remind me what an artisan is again.
Is an artist.
An artist, right. Good job. Okay, I'm gonna number you. You guys are a group, you're a group, and you're a group, and you're a group. But you guys, I'm gonna tell you a different group to go to, okay? All right, and the paper I have, I hope I got it long enough. If not, you're gonna have to find the shortest person in your group. That means that we can't have his legs cut off. But if we have to, that'll be fine too. Do you need something in a Grace?
Does the whole group have to decide on one thing together?
Yeah, you need to compromise, okay? If you want his top half to be Michael Jackson and his bottom half to be Whitney Houston, that's
Oh, God.
This is to be fun.
I do not
Boys and
need
girls,
to.
listen, please. This is going to be fun, but it also is to help you learn about the different classes because there's different people, and we want to know. You got to make sure that you kind of keep it to where it's different, okay?
And we'll just go.
All right. So you guys are group 1, okay? 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Brandon, you're 1. You're 4. 1. Okay, go to your groups.
Have to decide together. It has to
Yeah, we're not 2, 3, 4. I haven't told you your groups yet. I'll tell you that in just a minute. I'll tell you what they are. Okay, you can finish now.